purchased this little beauty the other day at the our local radio club auction. I think I paid $15, or maybe a bit more. I think it was 15. It's ugly and cheap, nasty, but I love it. It's so quirky. So it has a on-off volume, tuning from here, or if you're in a real, if that's not fast enough for you, look, you can back drive it. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not. Anyway, slipping there. I have absolutely no idea who makes it. It says Duncan Capacitor New Zealand, so I guess it's a New Zealand company. I don't know. Wesco, down the bottom there, it says caution, don't put your fingers in there, and then it's got Wesco products. So I haven't had any luck searching. I didn't search very hard, I gotta say, but Phoenix Radio New Zealand didn't come up. Why did I buy it? It's just so quirky. Yeah, it'll look great on display, if nothing else. So I think what I'll do, I'll pull it apart and just see if there's any clues as to where it came from inside. So let's quickly pull it apart. How does it come up? Oh dear! Oh, the whole. Oh. It's got a screw in it. No, it's got a screw. What are they even screwing into? There's no. What? Screwing into timber? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that was easy. Alright, check out. Looks like the mud wasps had a field day in here. Oh, golly. Looks like that used to have nuts in it or something. Oh, I don't know. Let's see what we can see. 7Y4. Never heard of it. And these valves are the can't remember what they call them. Something lock. They're not rim locks. There's something else. They lock into a little clip on the bottom. Don't think I've got any of those. So if I can't find the manufacturer, we're going to be in trouble with this. Oh, there's one. Sylvania, made in England. No number. So I can't even trace it using the valves because I haven't got the numbers. I suppose, of course, the valves could quite well work and I won't have to worry about it. The speaker looks good. It's got speed holes in it, so that should work quite well. I think that'll be getting replaced if this thing ever works again. It's got this brown wax. It's hard. It's got it in several places around. Don't know where that came from. I mean, it's dropped down, so I guess it's nothing from the radio. It must be from somewhere else. Let's have a look underneath. Fairly clean in here, actually. Relatively modern. Oh, look at that. What is that? That's out of the... Is that out of the transformer? Yeah. If it's out of the transformer, we're in trouble, I'd say. It's had some work done to it. The condenser or the electrolytic capacitor has been disconnected and had a new one's put in. This is a new style high wattage resistor. I don't know what is that stuff? I mean, it's up in here. It's up above. How can it be? Can't have come from the transformer. No. Is it an animal made that? I don't know. The only clue I've got is it's got Phoenix on the front. There's a number there. It's a number. There's two numbers separated by a gap, so I'm assuming that first number is the model number 211. So 211, and then 12874 would be the serial number, I'm guessing. I don't know what that waxy stuff is. It's as hard as a rock, so I don't know. It must be it must have come externally. I can't see how it could be up higher than the transformer, and it's not a wax. It's quite a resiny. Yeah, it's like hard, like a resin. Yeah, so interesting. I really don't like working without knowing what it is, so I can read the schematics, get the IF frequencies. I don't know what that is. What's that thing? Is that a tone control or something? Yeah, tone control. It's quite handy having a tone control at the back, I don't think. Well, my latest thing has been to just plug them in and see if they work. So let's give that a go. Alright, I've got the dim bulb on. I'll put it on restricted. I've got my meter going up here, so I'll be able to just keep an eye on that as well. Let's see what happens. I hope this doesn't live up to its name and rise from the ashes. See what happens. Pretty bright, pretty bright, pretty bright. No. Something wrong there. Okay. No. Something shorted there. Taking the rectifier out, so see if that still has an issue. Oh yeah. Does that indicate the transformer's short? Probably. Let's try and check this transformer first. So I've got the main switch on, the switch on in the radio volume knob. And 35 ohm through the primary. Okay, I'll see if it's going to earth. Using the multimeter, it's not showing going to earth. There's the two coming out of the secondary going to the rectifier. So let's just see. I've got a 493k, that's going through the entire secondary. I'll assume that's the center tap. So I should have 270. Seems to have a wax on these terminals. So it should be around about 270 as well, you would think. 270 ohm. Let's have another look at that first one. Yeah, 270. So it's a bit lopsided. Connected my multimeter to the secondary there of the transformer. I put power on. It's on restricted voltage still, so we'll just see if we do get a voltage there. It's on AC. 115, 116. As I say, it is on restricted, so probably only getting 170 or 80 volts supply. I'll just change it over to the other one. 97, that's what you expect seeing the other ones. Okay, so I put the rectifier valve back. I've got my multimeter connected to the output of the rectifier, so I should be run DC here, so we should read a DC voltage, but we're going to have to wait till it warms up. So I'll just run it, let's see what happens. If there's any major thing going on, the bulb should absorb the shock. The dial lights are on. Woohoo! I'm getting something. We're not getting much, we're getting something. Only got a volt there. So I got it on 200 volts now. I'm not getting a watt reading. I think my watt meter's broken again. There's some noise. 39 watts, it's 0.38, 39. So that's about normal. Alright. Alright, so there's nothing. It's got sound, so the output transformer is working, but there's no channels there, no stations, I mean. I'm not getting any noise through the amp, but I can hear crackling, so we got 130 volts DC out of it. Seems a bit lower, they're only putting 200 in, so I'll pump it up a bit. No. It's got hum. On pretty much full volume. No, not a cracker out of that. Alright, we're going full power again. Yeah, it seems to be working right now. The dim bulb's okay. I don't know. Lost the globe. Oh, there it goes. So I've got an aerial on. Nothing works in here without an aerial. Well, it's getting through. Aha.
You're only dancing on this earth for a short while. Oh, very young, what will you leave us this time?
Brisbane's home of good times and great class in Forge. Sexual assault, or she's been.
I'll turn that light off. It interferes with the stations.
It can be a bit tough going. Obviously, it's a delicate subject, but Susie Miller, the playwright, and Lee Lewis.
At $11.
These funny little animals with very jaws.
They're actually, well, I don't know if it's pronounced lemurs or lemurs. I always pronounce that wrong, but I think most people who hear you talking about it know what they look like. They're like little, almost like like a cross between a monkey and a ferret. But they're really cute.
Alright, well, okay. It works. It's just got some bad contacts on the some of the valves there, obviously. I need to clean them up. The speakers going to need some work. I don't think I can save that. It's all in the suspension, so a bit hard to try and patch suspension unless I can get another bit of what do they call that? I can't think of what they call it now. But the rib suspension, you can buy new ones these days. But I don't know about that one. Yeah. Well, interesting. Very interesting. Maybe I won't need a schematic because I don't need to. Works fine. I suppose I need to, well, clean it up for a start. I'll clean all the valves and the sockets and the pins. Go through and check all the caps, make sure they're good. Someone's done it previously, although I think it's you'd have to think it was done quite a long time ago because they're not new style caps by any means. They look more like 60s or maybe. Another interesting thing, I don't know if we'll be able to focus on that. Just turn it that way. Okay, there you go. So somebody's written a whole series of dates and a little signature next to it. So that cannot be production dates. I couldn't have taken it 3 years. So was it built in about 55 and it had a problem every 12 months? I don't know. It's quite strange, isn't it? And why would you pencil it in down there? It must have been aftermarket. Couldn't possibly been while they were manufacturing it. That's just silly. So yeah, interesting. I don't know what that means. Someone's repaired it and written in the dates they've done the repairs. Why would you do that? Why would you write it down there? Why wouldn't you write it up here where there's plenty of room and it's easy to write? Don't know. Alright. Just looking again at this transformer this morning. These the two secondaries had a whack with each other, so you'd have to think one of the windings is shorted inside the transformer. Also, I noticed there's a path of liquid or something coming down there, so I assume it's wax or something coming out of it. It might be that resin that I found. So I'm going to I'll pull the transformer out, I think, and see what I can do, and maybe I'll have to go and find another one, but there's certainly something wrong with it somewhere. It's pretty standard transformer, so I think it's only 6.3 volts. The valve had a 7 on it, but I looked at the specs for that particular valve and it runs at 6.3, so that's okay. So it's only 6.3 centre tap power. Yeah, I don't think there's too much. Just an update on those pencil markings. I noticed there's another one around on the edge. I hadn't seen that last night. So that's 1987. So I don't know what's going on. Also appears to have the same signature or a similar signature next to it. Well, I had a look through my spares, and came up with a transformer that's pretty much size-wise. It's very, very similar. This bundle on this one's bigger, so the whatever they call core. So that's bigger, but physically the height's the same, width's the same, so it won't be an issue fitting it. I think the hole's big enough. Oh, it doesn't matter. This area here is still going to be the same. So yeah, it's a bit bigger. All right, so that was a bit of luck. I'm just going to just buzz it out and just see what specs we get. Certainly doesn't look as black as this one, so that's a good thing. Alright, so I've marked them. So I've marked all the wires as I've come out primary. So hopefully that, I don't know what the voltages are supposed to be on this because I don't have any specifications. So I did put a some photos on a Facebook radio page or group that I'm with, and one chap said, "Oh no, I think he's got all the information on Wesco, the company that made this radio, apparently, allegedly." So he said he should be able to find something on it. So I'm holding out a bit of hope for that. That'll be good. Then I'll know what I'm doing. So missed that one. Hang on. Alright, so let's have a look. What do we do first? Where are we? Secondaries? Let's have a look at those. I'm guessing which one's the centre tappet. This one came out of a radiogram, so it had the wires going off somewhere else. Went outside the set, so I'm not sure what it was supposed to be. Put that on ohms, and we got 352 ohms. What the other one? 500 or something. Across the secondary. So where's the centre tap? It's the primary. It's got centre tap with a question mark on that one. So 350 should be 168. Oops. So the other primary is here. And 84, so still a bit of an imbalance there. 184, 170, yeah, not too bad I suppose. So I guess that's the centre tap. There's another funny wire here which I'm not sure what it is. Nothing there, cool. So that's the supply, I guess it's 6 volts. Nothing. Oh. There we go, hang on. Oh, sorry, yes, it's a short. Okay, so that'll be the 6 volts out of there, and there's the primary. And to do the primary, let's check the primary. I think we had something like 50 odd ohm. Alright, so that seems right. And just to test to see where we're at with these two transformers, see what the difference is. This is the original transformer, and I've connected the power is going in there, the supply is going in there. That's the two inputs for the supply, and I've got it across the centre tap and one of the secondaries. So I'll just see what voltages we get, and that dim bulbs come on. We're only getting 100, 120. Am I getting 140 out of it? I was going to say the power supply is pulled right down to 100 and about 120 on my Variac. So I'll just swap those two wires over. So this thing's pulling power when it's virtually under no, it's on the no load. I think it's about 12 watts here. Once again, dim bulbs on, and we've only got 118 on that. There is something wrong with this. Yeah, so we've got a 20 volt split between the two there. There's something wrong with it. I can smell it already, so there's something going on in there. I've also checked the coupling capacitor and the output transformer, make sure they weren't shorted out and pulling this transformer down. But yeah, you can smell it. So I'll just try the other one, see what the difference is. So now let's try the new transformer and we'll see what we get. So the bulb doesn't light at all. We've got 243 on one side of the primary. Stand by, I'll just swap it. Trying again, and 274 on the other, so pretty closely matched there. It's pretty good. I sandblasted and painted the transformer, make it look a bit pretty. I'm going to use the cap that came off the original one, so I've drilled some extra holes to go through, match the new transformer holes on that. I've also drilled some holes for in the chassis there for the transformer. So now I'm just looking at it. What I was going to do was put the transformer back, wire it all up, make sure it would work, but the chassis is pretty ordinary, and it's also appears to have it's been painted. Well, I think it's been painted. It looks like it. There's a rivet there that's painted as well, so I'm not 100% sure. So I'm thinking, do I want to go and strip it all down like oh goodness, so much work. For what reward? It'll look good again, maybe. So maybe I'll I'll probably do it, I suppose. Okay, so pulled it all apart and sandblasted it. I'm going to hit it with some paint, which should come out this colour here, I hope. I've tried to save the sticker on the back there with some low adhesion masking tape. It's so low it's falling off. Okay, so I'm going to paint that. Well, good morning. The paint's been allowed to dry overnight, so it's reasonably hard. It probably needs another 8 hours or so, but I can very carefully start taking the masking tape off. It's actually it's pretty hard, so it's come out all right. That's a new paint. I haven't used that before. It's called aluminium. It's a rust guard paint, so the finish is called aluminium. So it's come out a nice flat aluminium colour, I guess. One thing I am interested in is to see whether the sticker survived. So this is low adhesion masking tape. If I'd used ordinary masking tape, it takes the print off. It should just come off without affecting it too much. It's got a little bit of print there. This piece of tape's stuck. Might be stuck to the paint, I think. There you go. That's not too bad. I've also polished the cans. I painted the transformer, brought up some of the bright work, and Russ removed all the fitting of the fasteners. So. I just thought I'd turn the cameras on again. I've spent quite a number of hours rejoining everything. I've fitted the new transformer. It seems to be working all right. I thought after I finished, I thought I'll just turn it on and see how it all works. Fortunately, it doesn't work at all, and there's no sound at all from the well, sorry. There's hum from the speaker, but there's no signal getting through to the speaker. There's no crackling. There's no nothing. So something in the amplifier stage is dead. If I put my finger on the input to the volume control, there's no feedback. There's nothing. So something's up in the amplifier section. I've checked all the voltages. The plate screen voltages are good. The grid voltages are good. So everything's okay. I've checked all the filaments. So I don't know what it's doing. And if I put it on dim bulb, it almost doesn't draw anything. It's just not doing anything. So I'm at a bit of a loss. I know it's in the amp. I don't know if the rest works, but I certainly know the amp's not working. So I've turned it on again. I put the oscilloscope on, and it's getting the oscillator is working. That was early days that I sort of realised it was the amp, so I gave that away. So I don't know. It's got filaments. And it's got all the voltages, so where do you go from there? Oh, that's right, that's what I did. Sorry, I traced using the oscilloscope, I traced the signal to here. That's the grid going into the output valve, and there's nothing. That's the output, that's the plate. There's no signal there at all. So something's wrong with that valve. So I'm just going to flip it over, put it back on again. It did have problems with contacts, didn't it? Oh, hey, that's stone cold. Stone cold. That one's not much better. That one's warm. That one's slightly warm. I've got 6.6 volts at the filaments. That's not doing anything. These valves are hard to see see if there's any lights in them, any glowing. So let's pull that off. What have we done here? I've got the main lights on too. Oh. Oh, there you go. I fixed it. Right. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's obviously a contact problem with these valves. Alright, well then, okay. My changing the transformer's been successful.
It's just the kind of look on Brian Ferry's face in that film clip that makes it gold. Let's stick together on Nightlife.
So I've got my I've got a shop speaker running
You're
there,
going
so
to Australia,
I haven't got a. I've got a
transmitter. You're going to get some problems tonight. You will be.
Can't. The volume won't go down. I've got a speaker. I bought a new one, but it's a car speaker, so I see how that goes. I've also ordered some new cushions, the foam suspension from China, but they're going to take well, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to get here. So in the meantime, I'll put the car speaker in, and then I'll revisit repairing that other one. If I can get the other one back in, that'll be good, because it'll keep it pretty much original. The transformer's different, but you wouldn't know. It's got the same look. So.
Years. So
Okay. Well, considering how far I pulled it apart, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the fact that it actually worked. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'll have to go and clean all these contacts, obviously. And I'll start putting it back together. I'll put this car speaker, try and redo the tuning string, which I had to take off. But I think, considering how far I had to pull it apart, the fact that it worked, it actually worked first time, just wasn't working because of the valves. So that's pretty good. Okay.
Listen to some music.
yeah.
I also pulled the volume pot apart and the tone control on the back.
Well, we haven't got a stage at the moment. It's in the main.
Right.
We have that,
So that seems to be working.
Great time and the crowd
See if the
join
tone
in.
works.
So we try to have. We have folk club every
yeah,
second
it's
Thursday
working.
night. So we have that in the beer garden. Our local council folk club.
So yeah, I pulled both those pots apart and cleaned them out, and cleaned them thoroughly and put a bit of deoxit in there to just to clean the surface off, and they've come good. They were scratchy before, the volume control particularly. So very good. All right, I'll keep going. I'm just going to clean these using the Dremel. That seems to work pretty good. Actually, they're very corroded. You can see it there. It's got green stuff around it. So yeah, all right. So I'll just give these a whiz with the Dremel, and come back and I'll spray a bit of deoxit into the socket and let it sit for a few minutes to deoxit, and then I'll throw them back in. I think that'll fix those. All right, thanks.